Welcome back to Things You Don't Know, the podcast where we take something everybody recognizes and ask, what's the story behind that? I'm here with my good friend and compatriot, Dr. Sean Deneen, our resident historian and the guy who helps keep me on track.
Well, Dr. Weaver, not that you need my help for that, but it's always a joy to be working with you. Today, we're going to be talking about one of the most famous cartoon characters ever created, Mickey Mouse.
Who's the leader of the band who's made for you and me?
Indeed.
Yeah, kids know Mickey Mouse from cartoons, toys, theme parks, lunchboxes, backpacks, TV shows, and movies. But Mickey did not begin as a superstar. No, no.
No, he didn't. He began as a small black and white cartoon mouse in the 1920s, and his story includes disappointment, creativity, teamwork, music, television, friendship, and a lot of imagination.
Yes, sir, buddy. Today we'll ask, where did Mickey come from? Why a mouse? Was he almost named Mortimer? Did a real mouse inspire him? Who were Mickey's friends? And how did the Mickey Mouse Club become such a big part of American childhood?
Well, he was not Walt Disney's first character, Dr. Weaver, before Mickey Mouse. Walt Disney had another cartoon character named Oswald the Lucky Rabbit.
Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. So Mickey was not Walt's first famous animal character, huh?
That's right. Oswald was very popular, but Walt Disney lost control of the character because he did not fully own the rights. That was a huge disappointment.
Yeah, it all comes down to control and money, doesn't it, huh?
As with so many things.
Yeah, that must have felt pretty terrible to him. Imagine creating a character and then finding out you can't really control what happens to it.
Exactly. But he didn't give up. That disappointment pushed Walt Disney and his team to create something new. Walt worked with the brilliant animator Ub Iwerks, who was extremely important in drawing and developing Mickey's early look.
Yeah, so one of the first lessons Mickey teaches is this: sometimes losing something can lead to creating something even bigger. And, we need to take that to heart.
We sure do. And in this case, losing a rabbit helped lead to a mouse.
Now, Dr. Deneen, here is one of my favorite parts of this story. Mickey Mouse was almost not called Mickey Mouse at all.
It's hard to believe, but that's right. According to a very well known Disney story, Walt first considered the name Mortimer Mouse.
Mortimer Mouse?
Yes, but Walt's wife, Lillian Disney, reportedly thought Mortimer sounded too serious or too fancy. She suggested the friendlier name Mickey instead.
Yeah, and that was a very good suggestion. Now, there's a side story here, just very briefly. It is legend that Lillian said that Mortimer didn't have any magic. And when she suggested Mickey, Walt said, "Oh, I see. Yes, that does have more magic." And that theme of magic permeated the rest of Walt Disney's career. Child magic.
Oh, yes, that wonderful playfulness that some adults don't lose. But you're right, Mickey sounds lighter, quicker, and much more playful. It fits the name of a little cartoon mouse who runs and whistles and dances and gets into all kind of adventures.
Yeah, yeah. Well said. Mortimer Mouse sounds like he might wear a top hat and correct your grammar.
Interestingly, the name Mortimer was not thrown away forever. Later, Disney used Mortimer Mouse as another character, a rival who tries to impress Mickey's girlfriend, Minnie.
Yeah, but Mortimer didn't have the magic. So Lillian Disney may have helped give Mickey one of the most famous names in entertainment history. So here's another legend. And this is not proven, it's not absolute historical fact, but it's such a good legend here. Gotta mention it. And this story people often tell, that Walt Disney once had a little mouse friend in his early studio.
Yes, I heard that. This story comes from Walt's early years in Kansas City when he worked at the Laugh-O-Gram studio. The story says that Walt noticed a mouse in his studio, fed it, and may have even treated it almost like a tiny pet.
So the idea is that this real mouse may have helped inspire Mickey.
Possibly. We should be careful, though. Historians often say that Mickey's exact origin is surrounded by a little legend. Some parts are well documented, other parts are stories that have been told and retold, and they grow in the telling.
Indeed, that makes sense. A real mouse may have influenced Walt, but Mickey was also shaped by many things, like the need for a new character, the design work of Ub Iwerks, who was a kind of a genius in terms of early animation techniques, and also perhaps Walt's own sense of comedy, which really permeates the whole thing, doesn't it, Dr. Deneen?
It certainly does, exactly. But the mouse story, true or not, is still useful because it reminds us of something important. And we've seen this in a podcast. Sometimes a small, ordinary, forgotten thing can spark a big idea.
Yeah. And just a little note for our listeners here. This idea came up. How? Well, kind of going over some things, some technical details with Dr. Deneen, right? Dr. Deneen?
Indeed, indeed.
And I kind of said, okay, we're gonna just use as something to just a throwaway example, Mickey Mouse. And when we started talking about it, it just sort of blossomed. And so here we are now. So a tiny mouse in a studio becomes one of the most recognizable characters in the world. That is a pretty good example of imagination on Walt's part, wouldn't you say?
I couldn't agree more.
But why a mouse? Why not another rabbit or a dog or a bear?
Well, one reason is that a mouse is small. That made Mickey easier to root for. He was not the biggest, noisiest, or strongest character. He was the little guy. Mice are often thought to be cute and non threatening.
Yeah, kids understand that. Children are usually smaller than the grown ups around them. So a small character who is brave can feel very encouraging.
He certainly can. Mickey was small, quick, clever, and full of energy. He could get into trouble, but he usually tried to solve his problems.
So there was a drawing reason also. Is that not correct, Dr. Deneen?
It is correct, yes. Early animation had to be drawn by hand.
By hand, every frame by hand, huh?
That must have been some job. But Mickey's round head, round ears, simple body, and simple shapes made him easier to animate again and again.
Hmm. That matters because, as I say, animation, particularly back then, was not computerized. It was all done by hand. So it wasn't just one drawing. There are many drawings that are shown quickly. So the character looks like he is moving.
And Mickey's simple shape worked very well being seen in the black and white cartoons.
Hmm.
Now, Mickey's big breakthrough came in 1928 with his first full cartoon, Steamboat Willie.
I remember that, No, I didn't see it in 1928, but it was replayed over and over. That is the famous cartoon where Mickey is on a steamboat. He's kind of whistling and twisting the wheel and all that kind of thing and sort of moving around, dancing.
Yeah, it looks like he's having a lot of fun. What made it special was a new technique Synchronized sound. Remember, this is only a year after the Jazz Singer, the first talking film. So the music, whistles, movement, and sound effects match the action on the screen.
Wow. Wow. Today that that sounds normal. Kids expect cartoons to have voices, music, and sound effects.
But in 1928, that was revolutionary and exciting. Mickey didn't just move, he seemed alive. He whistled, danced, and interacted with the sounds and characters around him.
Yes. So sound helped turn Mickey from a drawing into a personality, right, Dr. Deneen?
Exactly, and audiences loved him.
Yeah, that's for sure. The Mickey many kids know today is very friendly, cheerful, and helpful. Was early Mickey exactly the same, exactly like that?
Not exactly. Early Mickey could be more mischievous. He was playful and bold, but he was also sometimes a little naughty by modern standards.
Yeah. So so he was not always the polished, careful Mickey we know today.
You're right. Over time, Mickey became gentler and more responsible. As more children watched him, his personality became more wholesome.
That's interesting because Mickey changed as his audience changed.
And his look changed too. His eyes, gloves, shoes, and clothing developed over time. The earliest Mickey is similar, but it's not the same as the modern Mickey children see today.
Yeah, Mickey is famous, but he is not alone. A big part of Mickey's world is his friends.
Yes, first his girlfriend, Minnie Mouse, who appeared with Mickey very early. She is cheerful, musical, stylish, and often clever in her own right.
Yeah. And then there was Donald Duck, who is funny because he gets so frustrated so easily and
Yeah, whenever my grandfather thought somebody was fooling around, he would say in a Donald Duck voice, "What's the matter with you?" But Donald teaches a very useful lesson. Everyone gets upset sometimes, but it's important to still have try to learn patience.
and then there is Goofy, who is clumsy but very kind.
Gosh, yes, he is. Goofy reminds children you can make mistakes and still be a good friend.
Yeah. And then there is Pluto, Mickey's dog.
Pluto is loyal, curious, and often gets into funny trouble. He helps teach lessons about responsibility and caring for animals.
And we should also mention Pete, who often plays the bully or troublemaker.
Pete gives the story conflict. He's what they call an antagonist in theater or movies. He helps children understand unfairness, bossiness, greed, and why doing the right thing matters.
So, Dr. Deneen, Mickey did not just live in cartoons, he also became part of television history through the Mickey Mouse Club. Who's the leader of the band? Who's made for you and me, huh?
That's right, Dr. Weaver. The original Mickey Mouse Club television show began in 1955 and became one of the most famous children's shows of its time.
What was the show like? Can you take us into that a little bit?
Glad to. It was sort of a variety show for kids. That means it mixed different types of entertainment: songs, skits, dances, adventure stories, guest stars, newsreel style reports, and cartoons.
And the kids on the show, they were called Mouseketeers.
Exactly. The Mouseketeers were young performers. They sang, danced, acted, introduced segments, and helped make the show feel more like a club that children at home could belong to.
Well, who were some of the well known people on the show?
Well, the adult leaders included Jimmy Dodd, who was known as the head Mouseketeer, and Roy Williams, who was known as the big Mooseketeer.
What did Jimmy Dodd do?
Jimmy Dodd helped lead the show, sang, spoke directly to young viewers, what we call breaking the fourth wall, often gave short lessons about character or good behavior. He was a prototype of people like Fred Rogers, a friendly teacher or a scout leader on TV.
Yeah. And Roy Williams, he was also there, huh?
He was. Roy Williams was a Disney performer and artist. He helped bring humor and warmth to the show. He was also connected with the famous mouse ear hats worn by the Mouseketeers.
And what about the kids?
Some of the best known original Mouseketeers included the one known best of all, Annette Funicello, Tommy Cole, Darlene Gillespie, Lonnie Burr, Sharon Baird, Sherry Alberoni, Doreen Tracy, Bobby Burgess, Cubby O'Brien, Karen Pendleton, Dennis Day, and Cheryl Holdridge.
That is a lot of young talent.
It was. Annette Funicello became especially famous and later had a successful career in movies and music.
Yeah, I always thought she was kind of cute and very approachable, you know? So the Mickey Mouse Club was more than just a show about Mickey Mouse.
Very much so. It was like a training ground for young performers, a daily routine of happiness for kids coming home from school and watching at home, and a way to, in general, make kids feel included.
So, what did children actually see when they watched the Mickey Mouse Club?
Well, the show had theme days. For example, one day focused on music, another on guest stars, another on surprises, circus style fun, and another on talent.
So, kids knew each day had a very special flavor, each one.
Absolutely. The show also included what were called adventure serials.
Okay, define that. What is a serial?
It's an old term from the movies. A serial is a story told in parts with a cliffhanger. Instead of one story ending immediately, the children would watch a piece of the adventure and come back later to see what happens next.
So, that seems like a kind of a smart way to keep kids interested and focused, huh?
A very good way. Some of the serials included stories like The Adventures of Spin and Marty and The Hardy Boys. These gave children adventures, mystery, friendship, and helped them develop problem solving.
And I remember both of them, the Spin and Marty and the Hardy Boys. Yeah, I watched those. So the show helped kids enjoy music, stories, teamwork, and imagination.
And it made Mickey Mouse feel like the leader of a larger world, a world where children could sing, learn, perform, laugh, and belong.
Mm-hmm. The Mickey Mouse Club did not only exist in the 1950s. Is that correct?
You're correct, yes. It came back in different versions. There was a new version in the late 1970s, and then another updated version from 1989 to 1994.
And that later version had some people who became very famous also.
Yes, it did. The later Mickey Mouse Club included performers such as Christina Aguilera, Britney Spears, Justin Timberlake, JC Chasez, Ryan Gosling, and Kerry Russell.
Wow, that's kind of a star-studded group too, isn't it?
It sure is.
Yeah. That's amazing. So a children's performance show helped launch some major careers.
It certainly did. That shows how Mickey Mouse became connected not only to cartoons, but also to music, television acting, and American pop culture.
So let's talk about Mickey's impact on American children.
Mickey became a familiar friend. The children saw him in movie theaters, on television, and comic strips, books and toys, and eventually at theme parks.
Whoa, yeah. For many children, Mickey represented fun, safety, music, and imagination and magic.
Quite so. And the Mickey Mouse Club made that connection even stronger. It did not just show Mickey cartoons, it made children feel like they were a part of something.
A club.
A club with songs, hats, names, routines, and familiar faces.
You know, that is powerful for kids. Children, like everyone else, like belonging. They like knowing the routine. They like seeing other kids perform and thinking, maybe I could do that too.
Mickey and the Mouseketeers helped teach a very important lesson that creativity was not just for adults. Children could sing and dance and tell stories and act and ask questions and even participate.
I know, Dr. Deneen, that you're kind of a film buff in many ways, and I'm sure you remember the magic that's, as I mentioned, that permeated Disney's work in many ways was brought to life in that amazing film, The Sorcerer's Apprentice. You remember that?
Oh, yes. It really it took the audience out of their immediate reality and into a mystical world where wonderful things could happen.
Yeah, yeah. It was amazing. And the music and the cinematography was fantastic too. So let's list some of the lessons Mickey Mouse and his world taught children.
Okay, the first, the most important lesson is try to be brave even when you're small. Mickey is not big or powerful, but he always still tries.
Yep, never gives up. Lesson two, friendship matters. Mickey's stories often work because Minnie, Donald, Goofy, Pluto, and others help each other consistently.
Yes, here's lesson three, and this is very important in the real world too. Mistakes can be fixed. Characters mess up, but they take responsibility and they often learn from it.
Yep. And lesson four, kindness beats bullying. Now, Pete may push people around, but Mickey usually wins by being clever, brave, and fair.
That's a lesson we need to relearn today, I think. Lesson 5, your imagination is powerful. Mickey showed children that a simple drawing could become a whole world.
Yep, yep, so true. Lesson six, try again after disappointment. Now, Walt Disney lost Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, but that disappointment helped lead to Mickey Mouse.
Can you imagine how bad it would have been if he'd just given up?
No, no, I can't.
And here's the last and the seventh lesson. Children can be encouraged and can be performers and creators too. The Mickey Mouse Club showed kids singing, dancing, acting, and learning together in an atmosphere of joy and mutual respect.
Yep. Today, Mickey Mouse is more than a cartoon character. He is a symbol of animation history, American entertainment, childhood memory, and the Disney Company. You might say Mickey is the king of four Disney amusement parks, spreading the Disney empire internationally.
That's an opportunity for a lot of magic, but Mickey was not created by magic. He came from artists, animators, musicians, voice performers, television performers, young performers, and many people working together. Just to give a brief sideline here, the Emperor Hirohito of Japan came to Disneyland and loved it so much they built a Disney theme park in Tokyo, and he was actually buried with his Mickey Mouse watch.
Yeah, yeah, that's just fascinating to me. The Japanese emperor, huh? Yeah. Okay. It's important to remember also that Mickey Mouse came from a setback,
Yes, losing Oswald could have ended Walt Disney's dream, but he didn't give up. So instead, it helped start the next chapter.
a chapter starring a mouse.
A mouse who may have started as Mortimer, but became Mickey, and then became one of the best known characters in the world.
So, what did we learn today? Mickey Mouse began after Walt Disney lost control of Oswald the Lucky Rabbit.
Walt Disney and Ub Iwerks helped to create the new character, and Walt's wife Lillian reportedly suggested the name Mickey instead of Mortimer.
Yep. We also learned that a real mouse from Walt Disney's early studio may have helped inspire the idea, though that story is partly wrapped in legend.
Mickey became famous through early cartoons like Steamboat Willie, especially because sound made him seem alive.
That was such a great advancement in animation, too. His world grew to include Minnie, Donald, Goofy, Pluto, Pete, and many others.
And through the Mickey Mouse Club, Mickey became part of television history, helping children feel like they belong to a cheerful world of music, performance, stories, and imagination.
For kids, Mickey taught lessons about bravery, friendship, creativity, kindness, and trying again after disappointment.
Not bad for a little mouse.
No, not at all. That's it for this episode of Things You Don't Know. Please give us a like, make a comment, subscribe, and come back. We've got a lot more interesting stories coming your way from history, from science, from culture, and everyday life too.
And please remember, ladies and gentlemen, sometimes the smallest character can leave the biggest mark.
Yippers! Hey, come on back and see us. That's all for now. Bye.